MMA fans, wrestling fans, otherwise known as combat sports fans, welcome to another great edition of Strong Style. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. Man, is there a lot of action coming up this week and a lot of stuff that happened. I am going to go. I know we did not get a show out last week, but I promise you this show this week is going to be here. Now, tons we want to get into. Of course, NXT Gold Rush night number 2. I guess we should talk about night number 1 as well. We're going to talk some NWA, some TNA Final Resolution is coming up. I'll give you my picks on that. That is tomorrow night, actually. And of course, AEW as the Continental Classic has started, and there's been some good ones already. It's one of my favorite tournaments that anybody puts together. And also some UFC, which we will kick off with. But first, I want to tell everybody, if you want to follow the show, if you want to be a part of the show, you go to our YouTube channel, where all the links are going to send you anyway. Go to our YouTube channel, impact_media_, and you will find all of our amazing content, all of our shows outside of our hockey show. We have talked about that. If you want to know where the hockey show is, it's got its own channel. I promise you can find it. Tons and tons of good content, tons and tons of good stuff coming up. And if you want to follow me among all the other social medias, the Impact 99. Good. I hope everybody had a good, Thanksgiving break. I had a good break. Honestly, a couple weeks ago, we got one side of the family. We got together there, and like before Thanksgiving, the other side of the family did too. So I just enjoyed a 4-day break. It was great. It was great. I was already done with the turkey and everything. But cool thing is while I was out on the Thanksgiving break, I ran into some fans of this very show. And truth be told, yes, I am related to them. But I want to give them a shout out. It was super cool to, in between all the family pictures that we took, to be able to throw up some good topics about MMA, especially women's MMA, which is something they really enjoy. And, I told them, I said, hey, look forward to some more. We're definitely going to talk some women's MMA here in a second as well, especially when we get into the UFC 323. But always good to meet people and to get to see people and reconnect in the case of these cousins of mine. And I didn't realize they were such big fans of the show. So I just appreciated getting to talk with them and chop it up. And that's the fun part too. Yeah, it's fun doing these shows, but it's fun running into you guys at all these events and just randomly in public, and we can just chop it up about whatever. And that's what's fun. That's what one of the main goals of this is. I want it to feel like we're having a conversation. Like the things that I talk about when I have guests on and co-hosts and things like that. I don't want it to feel like it's an interview. I don't want it to feel like it's one-sided, like you're back in school or college or anything where they just talk at you and you're supposed to retain it and you don't get a chance to respond. No, you guys get many chances to respond, whether you see me in public or any of our co-hosts. If you want to drop us questions, comments, suggestions, brownie recipes, treasure maps, all the fun stuff. We will definitely look into a lot of those. It's just fun. And I just, without being cliche, since we just went through Thanksgiving, that is one thing that I am thankful of, is all of you that tune into this to listen to me ramble like I'm doing right now. But this helps me because I love doing this kind of stuff, and it helps me even more knowing that you guys are actually out there listening and paying attention and calling me out when I miss things, and that's perfectly okay. No problems with that. I can take it. But I told you I'm going to get into UFC, so let's get into UFC 323. I believe it is in the T-Mobile Arena, the home of the Golden Knights. The early prelims will be on ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and FX starting at 6 p.m. And I've set my DVR. I know where I'm going to be at 6 Eastern, and it's not going to be near my TV. In fact, I'll tell you later where I'm going to go because there is the local spotlight. We will. I'll talk UFC. I'll do the local spotlight so I don't forget it, and then we'll get into all the national people. You'll find your prelims at 8 p.m. on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and FX, and of course the main card at 10 p.m. on the pay-per-view side of things. Any place that you get your normal pay-per-view. All right, I'm gonna talk main card, and then we'll talk about the only women's fight on there. And that, I mean, it's a great one. Don't get me wrong, but come on, Dana, how are you gonna have 14 fights and one is female? You can't tell me you've only got one worth putting on here. Even early prelims, some people wanting to prove it, people trying to earn contracts, nothing, nothing. I'd like to see an all women's MMA show, and I mean Invicta is way ahead of everybody on that because they're all female anyway. But why can't the UFC or the PFL just do one event that's all women, all of them? Just in PFL's case, it might be a majority of the roster of them. Why not? I mean, and put them on other shows too. But why not just have one? WWE does this. They just did this recently in Atlanta. That was great. I said I've been to an Invicta event. Let's put it this way. When I went to Invicta FC at Center Stage in Atlanta, it reminded me a lot of years ago when I covered the Celebration Bowl, which is where the top two HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, the top two in football played each other in Celebration Bowl. It is a week-long celebration of HBCUs and honor and tradition and just a culture and just it's so amazing, so great. It's probably my favorite bowl game I have ever covered, and I've covered a bunch. All right, now a lot of people go, "Oh, it's probably the only one he has." No, I've covered, I don't know, probably four or five. Unfortunately, a lot of the times that I covered teams, they didn't make a lot of bowl games, or they'd play in Arizona and a little outside my travel range. But Celebration Bowl, if you get a chance to attend it, I know it's coming up here mid-December or something like that. My good buddy over at Rockstar Photos, over at Rockstar, is getting a chance to cover it, and I said, buddy, you're going to enjoy this. It's just the pageantry and the athletic talent and just so amazing. And actually, the year that I covered the Celebration Bowl, the best kicker of the two teams played for the college team that I did cover for the regular season the next season. So when everybody's like, "Wow, can you believe this kid?" Yeah, I watched him do it in the Big Dome. Watched him do it over at Mercedes. Kick and kick. But anyway, that's what Invicta reminds me of because it's such a celebration of just what you don't get to see. Like you get to see all this tremendous female talent, the Joy Pendels and I mean I wish friend of the show Krista could have been on there as well. She's doing good. She bounced back. She just had a recent fight there. I look forward to some other stuff from her. Like I said, Joy keeps might be a joy to the world, but she is a terror inside that cage back there, and she is crushing people across the nation, which is great. But it was just such a great celebration of just pure athleticism, talent, and just showcasing just as much of the better female fighters out there that aren't in the UFC or the PFL. I thought it was great. But I'll get into that all female match here in a second. That's kind of weird. That's the female matchup here in a minute, the women's. But the main event of this one, Merab Dvalishvili versus Peter Yan. Man, two big time fighters, got similar records, but we're not getting odds. I have no odds on this one. Are you serious? No odds? ESPN, why is there no odds in this? That is insane. I don't need to see odds though because Merab Dvalishvili is going to win this, and he's probably just going to get on his bike and ride. And he's going to wear Peter Yan out over 5 frames, but you know, Peter gets caught slipping a little bit here and there. And I think Merab could finish him, but Merab just loves to just wear you out for 25 minutes. And so I got Merab. I got Merab winning at least 3 rounds, if not 4. I do. And that's another personal Peter Yan. Peter Yan is a heck of a fighter. I just don't think you can touch Marab right now. Maybe you can. Maybe Peter Yan knows how to do it. Show it to me. Show the world how to beat him because nobody here lately has figured out how to do it. That's why he's still the bantamweight heavyweight champ or the bantamweight world champ. You know, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, Peter. I got Marab. I got Marab. Um, Also a title fight for the flyweight. Alexander Pantoja is going to face Joshua Van. Now, Alexander Pantoja, he's a bit of a monster. He's a bit of a monster. But somebody that gets slept on a lot. He's 15 and 2. 15 and 2. Joshua Van down by the river. That's what I'm going to call him. I like that. Somebody come up with a thing. I want to say it was one of the commentators. But Pantoja versus Joshua Van going to be a barn burner. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know if it's 3 rounds, 5 rounds. I don't think it matters. I don't think it makes it past 3 rounds. Um, I like Pantoja, but give me Joshua Van to be your new flyweight heavy or flyweight. I'm going to keep saying that. Apparently, flyweight champion. Man, my goodness, that's about worth the price of the pay-per-view just for those two fights. But there's many more to talk about. We're going to stay on the pay-per-view card. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Tara. I don't know much about Tatsuro. I know Brandon Moreno is just a man. He just will not go away, and I don't want him to go away. But he is one that whether he wins, whether he loses, you just can't get rid of this guy. He just keeps showing back up just to punch you in the face. But I'm going to take a wild guess that if you're 17 and 1, whether I've heard of you or not, you must be pretty good. Because I would say even if this was boxing and 12 of these were against people who can't tie their shoes or spell their own name, bless their hearts. I'm going to go ahead and guess that at least probably 10 or better of Tatsuro Tara's wins are, well, let's just look it up. Let's look it up. Let's see what kind of either competition or what kind of it's won by submission, decision, KO, decision, submission, decision, submission, technical submission. That's crazy. KO, submit. Okay. About 2/3 of his are, well, I would say, how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, about half of his wins are submissions. About a quarter of his wins are KOs, and the rest of them are decisions. He only lost to Brandon Royval back in about last year. This time last year. Okay, Royval's pretty good. I'm looking at the people he has won against. There's some names on there. There are some names for sure. He beat Hyen Sung Park, Alex Perez, Carlos Hernandez, Edgar Chairez, Jesus Aguilera, CJ Vergara, Carlos Candelario. Yeah, he's beat some guys. He's definitely beat some guys. So, beat some pretty good competition there. I will say Tatsuro is going to beat Brandon Moreno. And I'm going to say it's by submission because apparently pretty good at it. So I'm going to take a wild stab there. I don't know much about Tatsuro, but I will say he's going to get the submission victory late round 2. I want to give Moreno more credit. I just think Tatsuro is going to put on a show. I think he is. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot in the bantamweight division. Talbot's another one that comes in highly touted, big time record. Henry Cejudo, since making his comeback, it's been pretty solid. But give me Talbot to pull off the mini upset, I guess. But either way, I think Talbot is going to beat Cejudo. It may go all the way 3 rounds, but somehow I think the younger Talbot is a little fresher, and he's going to be able to bring it. And then lastly, Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov in the light heavyweight division there. That will round out the pay-per-view card. I'm a big Jan Blachowicz fan, so give me Jan Blachowicz Unanimous decision. I think they're gonna trade punches a lot. You're not gonna see a lot of holds. I think they're just gonna just punch for three solid rounds. Bunch of other people on this one. I want to talk about Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. This is gonna be fun. If you have ESPN two, you have the Deuce, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. You have FX, FX, well, FX. You can see this one. It is about midway through the regular card, six, eight. I would say somewhere around 9 o'clock. Tune in for the whole thing anyway if you can. Or DVR or something. Don't miss any of them. Macy Barber coming in at 14-2 versus Karine Silva 19-5. You've got jiu-jitsu versus striking. Macy Barber has left a lot of people in her wake on the way up, like as high into the card as she is. Karine Silva the same way. Let's go through Macy Barber because I was looking at this earlier and I had forgotten half of these. Um, she recently beat Caitlin Sermonara. She knocked out Amanda Ribas. Decision wins over Andrew Lee, Jessica I, Montana De La Rosa, Miranda Maverick. The only people she's lost to is Roxanne Modafferi, I think, and Alexa Grasso. Those are big fighters, especially Grasso. You might not know who Roxanne is, but look into it. I promise she's a good fighter. And those were a year apart. Um, she's beat Jillian Robertson, Jamie Colleen Miller, Mallory Martin. I mean, she's beating some big people. Absolutely big people. She is a big. She has two submissions, six knockouts. That's for eight. So the other six are decisions. Put on a show. He's put on absolute shows. Then we go to Karine Silva. She's in the same boat. She's been knocked out once, submitted twice, nine submissions, eight knockouts, and a 19-5 record. Dion Barbosa. Let's just go to the people who have beaten her. Uh, she got back at Barbosa because Barbosa's beaten her. How about Marina Maknatkina? You know who Marina is? Marina's married to Sergey Spivak. You know how I know that? I've spoken to Marina and Sergey through the PFL. Fantastic power couple, fantastic, awesome people and fighters. Marina is no slouch. Um, Marina Moroz beat her back in the day, but back in the day, we're talking 2014. Um, Beyond that, the people she's beat, Helene Ribeiro, she has beat Cynthia Candido, Leticia Olivero Ribeiro. She has beaten Giovanna Eduarda. There was another Catlin Sousa, I believe, is on here a couple times. She got back at Marina Moroz and beat her by submission a couple years ago. Ariane De Silva. I mean, she's so real well rounded that I'm not real sure. She's only had two decision wins. The rest of them have been TKO or sub. So this is going to be a fight. Macy is going to want to stand and strike. Karine is probably going to want to go to the ground. But if you want to stand and strike, Karine is right there with it. That being said, give me Macy Barber to pull this off and get further up into the upper card. All right. Let's get into local. I'm going to try to remember all of the matches. Or do I have them somewhere? Let me see if I can find them. There they are. I knew I had my notes. Deep South Wrestling. Finally. Jeremy the Impact York returned to Deep South Wrestling. It's been a couple months, but I have been able to make some of those shows. Boy, I had to catch up. There's been a lot going down over there at Deep South Wrestling. Some changes. The one over the weekend on Sunday was a little bit of a reset. There's been some decent sized changes, I would say, and they're looking to kind of launch in a different direction. This was the hard reset, as I was told. and it definitely had that feel. It definitely had that feel. It felt like a Deep South show, but it didn't feel like the traditional one, the one I've seen for the last year and a half, whatever, year and a half, I think that I've been covering them and going to their shows. It didn't quite. I'm not gonna say it didn't measure up. It went in a different direction. It wasn't the normal Deep South show that I see, and I look forward to see what they're going to build out of it. We started off with all seven members of an eight-person tournament. Turns out Jacob Johnson was the other one they missed. But you got Jacob Johnson, Hunter James, Chad Skywalker, Cosmos Martinez, um, who am I missing? Austin Towers, Lamar Diggs, Big Strong Mims, Alex Kane. That's the eight. Okay, those eight are going to be in a tournament starting in January to determine the number one contender for Najas's belt if Naja survives the end of the show, because he did I think he defended his belt. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that actually. We'll get into it. We started out with Hunter James versus Chad Skywalker. These two are two of the best in the state. I mean, I hate ranking. These are two of the best. If Hunter James is in a match, go see it. If Chad Skywalker is in a match, go see it. That's Hollywood versus Agent 003. No joke. If they're on any local card near you, please go see that. Please absolutely go see that. And to have the two of them link up in the first one, man, it was just spectacular. Chad ended up getting the victory in that one. Um, Really fun match. Really fun match. You can feel the hostility between the two of them. We got to see Cosmos Martinez versus Nathaniel Vanderbilt. Cosmos, one of the fastest, best luchadors in the area, and not just when I say area, I don't just mean Atlanta. I don't just mean Georgia. I mean Southeast. Might be one of the best in the nation. Cosmos is fantastic. Cosmos Martinez and Nathaniel Vanderbilt. Don't sleep on his moveset. That guy can go. I mean, he was doing everything he could to keep up with Cosmos, and sometimes he was just grounding him with some of his bigger power moves. But Nathaniel Vanderbilt, man, don't sleep on that guy either. He's spectacular. This whole card was just ridiculous, as the Deep South normally is. Um, Ryan Rembrandt defended his New Realm, basically television title, against CT Entertainment, his teammate Professor Payne, who got added to the match late, and Duncan MA. Um, I will say things that I do and don't like about the show here, as opposed to the article, which should be out pretty soon from Georgia Wrestling History, where I actually do cover the show. I promise you do. For people who don't believe me, you'll see the article soon. Um, Here's what I didn't like. I like that Professor Payne was added to the match. I don't like the way they did it because he was just out walking around helping promote some Deep South stuff coming up. And then, oh, we hear word from the back. Professor Payne's in this match. He got no entrance. He was out there with C-Dub. Him and C-Dub make some of the best entrances. And honestly, Professor Payne is one of the most popular and over guys in Deep South. Always has been. And it's organic. It's organic. He comes out, kids love him. He comes out, uh, the women love him. He comes out, the guys love him. This guy's great. And he's getting better and better each time he's in the ring. And I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with the guy. I'm saying that because since I have started going to Deep South shows, I have organically watched him build up and build up and build up. And to get no entrance, no pomp and circumstance, no nothing, and then unceremoniously get dumped in this match. What is this, WWE? He needed an appearance to fulfill a contract or something? I mean, come on. Professor's better than that, and you owe him more than that. And I'll speak out about that. Um, I think it screwed up a little bit with Duncan M.A., who got royally upset the way he was kind of dumped in this match, too, and took it out on Professor. I don't particularly condone what he did to Professor, but at the same time, Duncan, I get it. I get it. The rest of the way it played out with CT being told or commanded to lay down so Rembrandt could win, it's all part of the story arc they're working on. That's totally fine. But, I don't like that part of the match. Up next, we got the Stunt Slap Marshall. You've probably seen him on the Power Slap and other things. You might have seen him with the bananas. He is all over blowing up right now. Him and DJ Smoke have been the champions for a long while. They took on um, teammates of Rembrandt and CT Entertainment, J Alpha Miller, who's been on this show, and surprise new member of Strength in Numbers, aka Sin, the Body Snatcher Hakeem Young. This was a really good match. And then Hakeem and Miller are your new tag team champions. So good debut for Hakeem. Hakeem shows up and puts another pelt on the wall. And then in the end, Stunt and Smoke push each other. Why are we breaking up that team? That's one of the more fun teams there's been. They were just the tag team champions for like 8 months or better. Why are we splitting those guys? I don't really understand it. Maybe it's part of a bigger story arc. Maybe my phone's going to blow up when this post and somebody's going to tell me what it is or tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine. There's a long line of people doing that. I can take that too. I'm an adult. I don't understand it. I don't understand it much. And I watch a lot of wrestling and I've watched a lot of this wrestling. And hey, you could blame it on the fact I've missed the last couple of shows. So I haven't kept up with as much of the storylines, but I don't know. It didn't make sense. Up next, we had Austin Towers uh, and Lamar Diggs. By the way, Austin Towers, my pick to win the tournament. My pick to win the tournament. I got you. I got you. We're gonna follow the left hand path and all the way. He's gonna follow the left hand path all the way to the finals and win that tournament. I hope he does. Honestly, he's my pick. I told him to his face there, and I mean I got to glare back. Fine. I'm not concerned about his opinion of it or not, or his emotions. But Austin Towers, I think you're going to win the tournament. I'm calling it this far out. They took on Big Strong Mims and Alex Kane. What a crazy, crazy combo that was. This is going to be in a double count out, which is predictable because these four people just wanted to beat the crap out of each other, and they did a fantastic job of doing so. Then we went to the main event, which was Nagicism defending his, for the show Nagicism, he's been on the show, defending his Deep South Wrestling Championship that he's had since the summer versus WWE ID champion Cappuccino Jones. You may have seen I updated some social media pictures, and the guy I'm doing this in a photo with, that's Cappuccino Jones. That dude's super cool, and he's really good in the ring, and he almost beat Nagicism a handful of times. There were a few times I thought Naj was really in trouble. Um, but in the end, Nagicism gets the win over Cappuccino Jones. He goes to a nearby ringside table, picks up the jacket that somebody had, the hoodie that, in fact, a hoodie not unlike this one, not unlike this one. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Said hoodie was put on the table because it was wet, and I know he likes to parade on that particular table. So I put it on there so he'd have something dry so he doesn't break the rest of his foot. And what does he do? He flung it across the deck. All right, so we got to talk, buddy. We got to talk. I don't care that you necessarily threw my jacket. I was able to procure it and get it back. But man, we got to chat. We got to chat about that. But overall, pretty good event. I said they're moving in a different direction. They're wanting to do some different things. They've got a few change of personnel here and there. Looking forward to seeing what they actually do with all of that. But of course, this Saturday, where is it? Where's it? This Saturday in Ranburne, Alabama, which is not very far from where I am currently right now. Who am I kidding? It's still a little bit. But the doors open at 6 Central Time. 7 is when the all the action starts Central Time. And general admission $10, ringside 15. Bullpen professional wrestling at the Ranburne Elementary School gym. Where's the card? There's a bunch of stuff on the card. There we go. All right. For the Bull of the Woods Championship, we are going to get champion Judas. You might actually have seen him on the NWA here recently. I've seen him on the NWA here recently. Dude's legit. Against an up and comer, but a monster of a guy in Xavier Cross. That's going to be for the Bull of the Woods Championship there. I'll do my picks at the end because it's going to take me a minute to think about those. Friend of the show, we just had him on a couple weeks ago. The frat daddy himself. Bryce Cannon is going to challenge JT Paradox for his television title. Hold on to your hats on that one. That one's going to be spectacular. Can't wait to watch that one as well. There's going to be special referee Damon Showtime Thomas, who last time we saw him at Bullpen at the anniversary show in the summer or early summer, he lost a match where he cannot he couldn't wrestle for so long, but apparently his suspension is up. He is back as a referee. Don't know how that works, but I guess we'll see how it works. It is a 8-man tag at the moment, where on one side you have Rob Adonis, you have J Alpha Miller. Yep, that J Alpha Miller, also friend of the show. You have Zach Buchanan, and you have oh, that guy's gonna get so mad at me. What is his name? His name is hold on, I got it right here. Here we go. Trey Jordan. Trey Jordan. Man, I'm sorry, Trey. Oh, you're a hamburger or something. I cannot. Just part of Rebirth. One of the most looked forward to up and coming factions because it's Ryan Wendell, it's Trey Jordan, it's I think Jaden Vane's in there. If he's not, he should be. It's Zach Buchanan. Can't wait for that one. But they're going to face Dante Diamond, BK Bennett, um, Aaron Dallas, and I don't know if Cody Wyndham is going to be there. I can't talk about why. I don't know. He's still advertised, but I thought he was busy that day. And I'll leave it at that because it's not honestly our business to talk about. There's also going to be a tuxedo street fight where it's going to be Ethan Dallas and Ryan Wendell, friend of the show, Ryan Wendell, who's been on here before. We get to see Sunset Sam McGraw take on Shane Knowles, special guest referee Kyle Gunner, and Bull will be down there as well, apparently. And if Sunset Sam wins, Bull regains control of Bullpen. And if Shane Knowles wins, that might be the end of Bullpen. Yeah, this is part of why you can't miss this one. I hope it's not. I hope it. I really do. I hope it's not the end, but you never know. After wrestling business, folks. We are going to get to see Brother Azrael and Eddie Honcho take on Lethal Gains. That is friends of the show, Lamar Phillips and Chris Gaines. Is that right, fellas? We're going to get to see a bull rope match between Kyle Gunner and former fellow referee. They're both former fellow referees. Xander Warwick. It's just going to be spectacular. There we go. All right, let's talk some NXT Gold Rush. We're going to talk night 1 and night 2 because we didn't do a show last week. My apologies. Night number 1, we got to see Ethan Page and Chelsea Green with Alba Fire as they defeated Joe Hendry and Thea Hale in a mixed tag team match for the AAA AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship. Um, Ethan Page, by far one of the best in the company, in my opinion. Chelsea Green, the best in the company right now. She's doing so well that Becky Lynch is basically doing her version of what Chelsea does right now on Raw. That's how good you're doing, Chelsea. Don't know if you realize that, but that's very much what's happening. Um, Hendry, the recent signee to NXT, Thea Hale, money who needs some work. It's not because she's bad, but they just have kind of left her out on the limb for a while. Working with Joe, I think, could be a good thing. Somebody has said maybe she moves to Evolve. Um, that could work. I'd leave her in NXT. I think she's got a lot more she could do here. But they lose that match. Ethan Page, Chelsea Green win, as they should. Blake Monroe defeated Sol Ruka with Zarya by technical knockout as Zarya threw in the towel for her friend to avoid further injuries. She just come up off a knee injury and she was in a knee hold. So, you know, in a way, I would hope my friend would protect me like that as well. Dark State, Dion Lennox, and Osiris Griffin defended their belts against Javon Evans and Leon Slater. It's a good match, but anytime you have all of Dark State out there, you just have to have your head on a swivel, and Javon and Leon just couldn't take on all four. So they did not win the match, but those two, man, are going to be giants. And JC Jane with Fallon Henley and Laney Reed defeated Tatum Paxley without Sean Spears, Nico Vance, and Izzy Dame, who all turned on her at the end of the match. JC Jane gets her belt back, and I have a problem with it. I want to see what they do with Tatum Paxley. I hope they're not just going to up and release her, which sounds like a very WWE thing to do. Really hope they don't, because Tatum is a solid performer, and maybe she finds two men to pair up with to go against Sean and Nico, and her and Izzy can go at it as well. I think that would be a lot of fun. We'll go to night number 2. Jackson Drake with Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes defeated Sean Legacy. Shout out Sean Legacy. Haven't met him yet, but he is from Georgia, just like Cappuccino Jones. And it's great that they were WWID, and then now Sean Legacy is on NXT. Maybe they'll start looking more in the Georgia area for some big-time talent. There are some out there. But defeated Sean Legacy to keep the Evolve Championship. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I thought it was a great match. To start with, it's like Jackson was lagging behind, and then he turned it on the second half of the match and gave Sean Legacy everything he had. This is a fantastic match. Fallon Henley with JC Jane and Laney Reed defeated Zarya in sudden death overtime to become the women's speed champion. Here's the thing. There shouldn't be overtime. The speed championship is a 3-minute match. So decide in 3 minutes. Don't go to overtime, because that defeated the whole purpose of having a 3-minute match. If you do a sudden death overtime, they can go for 15 hours if it wants to. It's only that. Well, that's one thing I didn't like. I'm a big Fallon fan, Fallon Henley fan. I'm a bigger Zarya fan. I just felt like they could have done so much more with this. Why not do it in 3? I don't even care if JC and Laney had something to do with it. I would have accepted that. I would have very much accepted that, but it is what it is. Matchup number 3, Lei Ying Lee defeated Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace to become the new TNA Knockout World Champion. Congratulations to her. Kendall Gray with Ren Sinclair beat Laney Reed, the only member of her faction not to have a belt, for the Evolve Women's Championship. Now, of course, JC Jane and Fallon Henley were banned from ringside. Not sure why they weren't banned the rest of the time, but it's what it is. I guess they have a try. Matter of time before Laney Reed ends up with a belt. I promise you that. And Kendall Gray, fantastic. Her and Ren Sinclair would be a great tag team, but I like them as just a duo. Not every 2 people have to be a team. They can be a duo. And then Miles Bourne defeated Trick Williams in a men's Iron Survivor Challenge qualifying match. John Cena um, this week, named all of the people for that match except for that one because those whoever won that was going to be in. So what is Trick going to do? Trick is not in this thing. Trick has got to find a way onto that pay per view deadline, which is it was deadline. I wrote it down. Um, I didn't write it down. I must have wrote down the other one. It's coming up. It's in a couple weeks. Um, but he said he picked Dion Lennox, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne because Miles won that match. He also picked the women, and the women's that he picked was Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Jordan Grace, Kendall Gray, and Kalani Jordan. The Iron Survivor, for people who don't know what Iron Survivor is, it is a lot like a King of the Mountain match from TNA. You, in order to be able to climb up and grab what you need to grab, you need to be an active person. In order to be an active person, you have to get a pinfall or submission in your favor, and that makes you an active person where you can actually try to achieve the last goal. That's kind of how it works. But let's go to TNA. TNA did the Turkey Bowl, and in the Turkey Bowl, you had Eric Young, Trey Miguel with Reed and Wentz, Mance Warner with Steph Delander, his new wife. Congratulations to the happy couple. The Hometown Man. Still don't know who that is. We gotta figure out who the Hometown Man is. Ryan Nemeth and um, Myers from the system. Myers gets the pencil on Ryan Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth has to put on the turkey suit. He tries to run. They end up dropping him. And Brian Myers. And he ends up wearing the turkey suit. He comes back in later. We talked about Final Resolution a second ago. We saw Krampus versus Ryan Nemeth, who says he doesn't like Christmas. He likes Thanksgiving. Must mean he got a lot of cold as a kid. But he in the turkey suit, he beat Krampus. And is there anything else? It was a big multi-man match, but it was all right. All right, AEW. AEW. They I need to talk about Full Gear, don't I? Need to talk about Full Gear. Do we have the Full Gear results? I don't remember if I talked about Full Gear. I thought I did. No, I don't guess I did. In the $20,000 prize match, Bang Bang Gang faced the Outrunners and Bowens and Caster, and Big Bill and Keith, and Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn defeated. Or no, this was Juice and Austin, not Ace Austin, Austin Gunn. Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn ended up getting the win in this one. The tailgate brawl, Boom and Doom versus RPG Vice. Boom and Doom ended up with the win in that one. Eddie Kingston and Hook took on the Workhorsemen. Kingston and Hook ended up with the win in that one. Got to see the World Trios Championship, where El Sky Team were the champions, and they took on the Don Callis family. Mystico, Dorado, and Neon did defeat Hechicero, Okada, and Takeshita, who could not get along in the end, to win the Trios Championship. Darby Allin versus Pac was just an instant classic. Pac actually beat Darby Allin. A lot more to it than this. I'm just going through the results. The Timeless Love Bombs took on the Sisters of Sin, versus the Sisters of Sin versus the Babes of Wrath versus Bane and Saphir, who are now called the Mega Problems. Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa ended up winning this match there, and they chose the stipulation for the semifinal tournament match. which we'll get into next week. Bro Dito took on FTR for the World Tag Team Championships. I know for a fact FTR won that. Bro Dito, I think, is still going to go do some things, but I want to see when Buddy Murphy is coming back because that will be the end of Bro Dito when Buddy Murphy comes back. They have the National Championship Casino Gauntlet. Um, People that were in this match: Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Ricochet, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, Kevin Knight, Roderick Strong, Mark Davis, Speedball Mike Bailey, Daddy Magic Matt Menard. Lashley and Benjamin opened it, and they actually grabbed. They started slow, but they did. I mean, there were some big moments in this, but it was cool to see that the two of them would actually wrestle because they knew what was going on. Ricochet wins the Casino Gauntlet. He is the inaugural national champion. Congratulations to him. I want to see what him and the Gates of Agony end up doing. Which it helps when you have those as backup. But hey, a win's a win. No holds barred. John Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. This was the just brutal war you thought it would be. O'Reilly actually beat Mox by submission. It's the second time he's done that in about 2 weeks. Not sure why they're suddenly building Kyle O'Reilly. We all know he's a killer, but they're building it. For the TNT Championship, no DQ. Kyle Fletcher took on Mark Briscoe, your new television champion, Mark Briscoe. Good job for him. Good job for him. And Kyle Fletcher will be fine, by the way. Still a pillar that they are using to build this thing. $1 million prize, Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander. So, this is fun. This was a fun match, and it gave me the result that I really wanted because Matt, Nick, and Alexander won. And Don Callis said, well, if you want the money, you need to go help put away Kenny Omega. And instead, the Young Bucks turned on the Callis family. Looks like the Team Elite is all back together. I couldn't be more happy. Big fan of that trio. Of course, the Young Bucks, and that's Omega. Women's Championship match, Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. There have been only two who have pinned Mercedes Moné or defeated her who have pinned her in AEW. That's Toni Storm. That's Chris Statlander after this match. Great match. I guess they still got some life. They really like what Statlander's doing right now. I think in the near future, we're going to see Moné win that. Just saying. But Stat's doing great. In the World Championship match, Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe may have had a little bit of help, but he's your new World Heavyweight Champion. And for people who thought this was a last-minute decision and all that, trust me, it's been in the works for a bit. Hangman did all he needed to do for now. He's going to have more moments coming, but it's time for Samoa Joe to rule the roost. What else was there? Let's go. Let's do the Continental. The Continental Classic started. Fletcher versus Okada. Fletcher ended up with a win there. That's on the gold side. Let's see. Willow and Harley took on the Sisters of Sin in the semis, and Willow and Harley won. So they are now in the finals. Who are they going to face? I'll tell you in just a minute. In the blue side of the bracket, Mox took on Mascara Dorada, and Mox gets the win there. We got to see on the gold side Darby versus Kevin Knight, and Kevin Knight actually beat Darby Allin there. That was pretty cool. And in the blue side of things, Claudio Castagnoli beat Orange Cassidy, and then got ran over by the Death Riders. Orange did. We go to Collision. On the gold side, Pac versus B-Ball Mike Bailey. Pac gets the win. Two big wins for Pac there. On the gold side. One on the gold side. He had another big win on that pay-per-view I just said. What else was big on that? There was another. Takeshita and Roddy Strong went into it. If Kyle O'Reilly didn't get hurt, he was going to be in the Continental Classic. Roddy took his spot in it, and Roddy lost on the blue bracket to Takeshita. Some people with some big wins. It will start evening out. This is their play on what New Japan does each and every year with the G1 Classic, I think. But I think AEW does it a little better. I enjoy this tournament. It really makes it mean something. It's the way they stretch it out and do the both sides and all that kind of stuff. It's not just one big bracket. It's a free for all and a free for all, and then you face and you face, and then now we know who won. And then lastly, in the NWA this week, the Kazanas have taken over as Joe Kazana with William Corrigan stepping out for a minute. I think he's on tour. Joe Kazana has taken over control and power to the not so delightful mood of anybody else. We got to see Thrillbilly and Alex Taylor and Kerry Morton, otherwise known as the Southern Six, come out and celebrate all of their gold. They have tag titles. I forgot the other title that Alex has, Alex Taylor, which he did defend against Fenrir and did beat him. But and then Thrillbilly, now your world heavyweight champion, as he beat Tom. Tom Ladder, who did come out for this. And then Knox and Murdoch came out. Murdoch said, well, I never got my rematch, so Tom, you can gripe and complain about you not getting one, but it is what it is. Mims, yep, that same big strong Mims that we just saw at Deep South. Mims was on this week. He said he got caught up in his own self, and that's why Pope was able to take him out, and he lost his belt. He will get back. We had to hear from the new women's champion, Natalia, who is it Markova? She's ready to start a new era in NWA, and I can't wait for it. We saw the Slime Balls. Tyler Franks and Argento took on the Judas team that I talked about called Nightmare Sin. I have no idea who the mask guy is with him. They didn't really ever mention his name, but Judas looked pretty good in that one. And Tyler Franks, who we saw up the road here in Rome at the 12 Gauge show last time around. Dude can work, man. He reminds me, he has a very European style, almost reminds me of a Ludwig Kaiser to a point, the way he wrestles. And I really enjoyed that. Also, we saw Slade with Aaron Stevens versus Brian Idol. And Brian Idol won by DQ as Aaron Stevens got way too involved in the match. And then the Colognes took on the Immortals for the Tag Team Championships, and the Immortals were able to pull out the victory. I thought I had something else. Oh, I got a preview. That's what it is. I have got to preview move all the stuff out of the way. I've got to preview the TNA Final Resolution coming up this weekend. We start with the Rascals, which is Trey Miguel, Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, and Desmond Xavier versus Order 4, Mustafa Ali, John Schuyler, Jason Hotch, and Special Agent Zero. I feel like Order 4 is going to win, but give me the Rascals. I will take the Rascals to win that one. Steve Macklin is facing Channing Stacks Lorenzo for the TNA International Championship. I like Stacks a lot, but they haven't done much with him on TV. Give me Steve Macklin. Mance Warner with Steph Delander is facing Matt Cardona in a street fight. Expect complete chaos and expect Mance Warner to win that. Matt and Jeff Hardy are going to face High Rise, Tyson, and Tyreek with Robert Stone, who is now backing them. I think that's going to really help them out. The Hardys will retain. Mike Santana against Charlie Dempsey. Give me Mike Santana. Charlie Dempsey's just getting back from Japan, but that will be a fun match. Leon Slater is going to defend his X Division Championship against AJ Francis. Give me Leon Slater. Lei Ying Lee versus Zaya Brookside for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Hate it for Zaya because I'm a big fan of hers, but Lee is going to retain in her first defense. The Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jesse McKay, are going to defend their tag team knockout championships against Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. Give me Tessa and Victoria, actually. And Frankie Kazarian versus JDC for the TNA World Championship. We know JDC going to ride into the sunset in January. He's going to have a great showing. He's not going to win the title. But other than that, make sure to watch TNA this weekend. Make sure to watch UFC. Make sure to watch all the amazing things there. If you're somewhere near Ranburne, Alabama, late Saturday afternoon, early evening, please come by and see it. I'm going to be there. All those people I told you are going to be there as well. Come see Bull Buchanan from WWE. It's going to be so spectacular. Such a great show. But we've reached the end of the show. So for everybody here at Impact Media, this has been another great edition of Strong Style. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys down the road. Deuces, gooses. Go watch wrestling. Go watch fighting.